my designs are recycled fashion. There's many pieces of different sweaters here. This is a bit of argyle. This is some doily. This is the back piece, two panels. So there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe about 12 to 14 different pieces of different sweaters in this one sweater. Recycled design is becoming extremely sophisticated now. The beauty of reworking, redesigning, refashioning, it keeps material out of the landfill, it challenges the designer, and it also educates the consumer. I get my raw materials from many places. I thrift. I live across from one of the largest thrift stores in the city. I'm always going out looking for different fabrics. When I go out, I also find beautiful vintage buttons that I incorporate into my designs. I also find vintage threads. I also collect the labels because this is the history of the raw materials I use. Christian Dior, Shaheen, Ballantine, Pringle. This wool sweater still is uncut. Everything will be used. So I might try to use the neck, the cuffs. I would try to use everything. So I will make wool mitts, wool scarves, and nothing really gets wasted. I'll be going into my second season. I kind of call it my Scottish line. And this, of course, is some vintage lace. I have to have seams. This allows me to cut the back. I'm trying to use as many pieces as possible. This might be 2 sleeves. Here's another. This would be the front of a cardigan. So I've incorporated that. The back opens up. So this will be my tickle back. This is vintage fabric that I've incorporated. This, again, vintage fabrics, lots of different wools, vintage buttons. Lots, you can see the different details here, how many sweater pieces are actually being used. This is a sweater from the company Shaheen of Hawaii. And this was an old Hawaiian dress that perhaps a tourist picked up that I've incorporated. This is probably from the 50s. And I love the fact that I can take something that has design integrity from 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and use it now. Here's my deer marching across your chest with a little bit of texture from the cardigan. And here are the buttons from the front of a cardigan and a little bit of color. All one of a kind, absolutely. You will not get a repeat of anything. Anybody can do this. A home sewer can look in her closet and pull out whatever she wants and refashion it. It's something that's been done for years. As long as people have been sewing, they can refashion their clothes. To go into production or to find good materials is quite difficult, and it's always a challenge. But it's a challenge that I love because when I find the perfect piece and I can use it in a lot of material, a lot of sweaters, for example, like this is a wonderful little floral sweater that I used in a number of different pieces. A little bit goes a long way. It adds a beautiful detail. If you find this in one of my designs, maybe only 3 or 4 other sweaters have it. So it's actually, there can be quite collectible. This probably has 10 pieces of sweater plus the vintage buttons. These are all handmade. So the nature of this kind of work, it is limited. People buy them off my back in the street, and I certainly am happy to. By the nature of trying to extract the material, it's very labor intensive. You can wear it as a skirt as well. Can large companies do it? There are, but it is finite. This is my bib series. Again, there's the vintage fabric here and here with the vintage buttons and a little bit of contrast down here.
And how many sweaters or how many pieces out of this?
Again, there's probably 14 to 18 pieces, all hand cut.
So this would be from something different from this, and this
Something
is different.
yeah, from here, from here, from here, from here. All of these are different pieces.
So how long would it take you to make something like this?
I don't even want to think about it.
Fits so well. That's the beautiful thing of it.
Yeah. With my cut, you're going to see very feminine lines. And the back is cut, you can't see it, but this is going to fit right into the small of your back.
Wow.
This curve gives you a lovely curve.
And what would be a price on something like this?
These retail in American dollars for about $144.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I have sold all over Europe. I've sold in Australia, in Asia. People order online. So I like to think that women from all over the world realize that they're getting a recycled hand-styled sweater that is unique, one of a kind.
Which you often don't find when you're just getting the disposable clothing of today.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
My pleasure.
That's great. Okay. Done.